Mr. Magic Cal on the keyboard right here, played with some of the greatest artists in the world. And I'm glad that he came down to perform for us tonight. Thank you, Magic Cal.
Hey everyone, Truck Tenon, Big Fish Music. We're at Parkhurst Gallery in Port Sacal, San Pedro. You should be here. Beautiful paintings. It's really nice here. I invite everybody to come out. I'm having a great time, so is everyone else, and fantastic paintings here, and everybody here is having a good time. Come on out, Parkhurst Gallery, Port Sacal in San Pedro. Beautiful, Saturday and Sunday.
Hi, my name is Cal, like California, Bezemer, like Bezemer mucho, only with a Z, Bezemer, B-E-Z-E-M-E-R. My website is musicangels.biz, like business, B-I-Z. Larry Covin brought me here, wonderful friend, wonderful singer, about 35 years since we were both 3 years old.
The same rainbow waiting round the bend, my huckleberry friend.
Blessing here at the Parkhurst Gallery. I knew Violet for years in all those Hollywood showbiz clubs. And it's so beautiful out here. I've been playing 66 years, since I was 11. And I'm starting to get the hang of it. I've recorded with El Giro. There's a cut with El Giro on my website, musicangels.biz. And I was with Herb Jeffries, the great singer with Duke Ellington, who had so many hit records, Flamingo, Satin Doll, I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good. He made it to age 100, and they had a great celebration for his 100th birthday. And also with Barbara McNair and a lot of famous musicians. I've had a very blessed life. If you work with the famous singers, that you don't get famous, but you get to work with them. So you have a joyful life, but you don't get rich or famous. But if you're doing what you love and making other people happy at the same time and making enough to get through, well, you know, hey, two out of 3 ain't bad, you know. Well, I grew up in a little town in Iowa in the 50s, Sully, Iowa, town of 400, a farm town. Never heard anything but country and a little classical and popular music of the day, which was great, deep, profound songs like How Much Is That Doggy in the Window and stuff like that. And I wanted to be a concert pianist, but I played for about 6 years and I couldn't even play minute waltz, which is the easiest thing there is in classical. I said, well, it'll have to be a hobby. I'll never be able to do that. Then I got in the Navy and God had other plans, thank you, Jesus. And I heard jazz and I said, I can do that, because you play from your heart, you set a mood, you tell a story, you know. And then after playing for 30 years, I did become a virtuoso, but the point is, you know, it was a beautiful thing. My life changed because I heard a trumpet player called Clifford Brown, and 2 days later he was killed in an auto accident, further verifying that it was my destiny from God that I would hear him and it would change my life. And 2 days later he wasn't on the planet anymore. And I had never knew there was such a thing as jazz, but I heard the trumpet player. I was in music in the Navy and in Norfolk, Virginia. And I heard the trumpet player, overheard him say, that Clifford Brown is such a virtuoso. So I went down to hear him, and I sat there 4 hours, tears running down my cheek, just trembling with, it was so powerful. It just ended that night, that's what I'm going to do with my life, be a jazz musician, you know. And that's what I've done ever since, so I feel very blessed. And I've got to work with a lot of the great musicians. So it's a spiritual calling, I feel it is. I have a poem called Holy Jazz, man. It's called Jazz is Jesus, Jesus is jazz, jazz is playing in tongues. And you train your mind, you train your body, and when it's time to play, then you just become one and let the spirit flow through, and you listen to the other players, and you just kind of all blend into this consciousness, you know, of being just flowing in the inspiration of the Spirit. It's a wonderful thing, you know. It unites mind, soul, and body. Music is something that brings it all together. Well, I also was given a thing called music numerology, which kind of ties in 7 notes of the scale with the letters of the alphabet. And then you can take the letters of your name and find out what notes they are, and they make a melody. And you put them all together and they make a chord, and then like you can check the melody and the notes of like your mate and your friends and people you work with and see how your notes and chords fit together and stuff. It can be very interesting. Just the fact that I get to play and I get to be free. You're never so free as when you're playing improvised music. It's a combination of freedom and structure, because you have the tune and you have the chords and you have a certain structure, but within that structure, it's just like you take like a song when you improvise like on it. It's like the story, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. We all know the story, but everybody would tell it in their own words. It'd still be the same story, but it would be different every time a different person told it. So that's the way it is with jazz music. It's the same song, but everybody's going to tell it a little different.
So did you go to school over there?
Yeah, I did. After I got out of the Navy, I got a degree in bachelor's in piano composition and music theory. But I don't really use that much in jazz. It's a whole different way of thinking. You don't even analyze the chords the same way. You call them by different names. And it's a whole different way of using your mind and your body and everything. It's a very different experience playing classic. And I can play a little classic, but I never could have made it as a classical artist. It's just not my gift to play the same thing and play it perfectly every time. My gift is to be in the moment and to just flow in the inspiration of the moment. People like Andy Simpkins, he was the bass player with George Shearing and the Three Sounds and Sarah Vaughan. Herb Jeffries, 35 years. He's the one who made a hit out of Satin Doll, I Got It Bad and That Ain't Good, Flamingo, and In My Solitude. So many songs, he even introduced and Black Coffee. Those were all Herb Jeffries hits. And he sang Nature Boy, which Nat King Cole sang. I love Nat King Cole. Go and search Herb Jeffries singing Nature Boy. And you'll see, no singer I think ever had the nuance of range that Herb Jeffries had. He had a nightclub in Europe for 10 years, in Paris. He was the toast of Europe in the 40s, and he studied with an Italian opera teacher. Therefore, he could still sing at 93 and 96, where Sinatra blew his pipes out by the time he was 60. Herb had this range from the most soft and tender, delicate, sensitive to the power. He had when he went powerful, it wasn't loud, just loud. It was power. Like, you know, the man was just, I think, the greatest, really, the greatest jazz pop singer of all time, because nobody had the range of from tenderness to power that he did, the nuances. And his diction, you would think he was English or something. He spoke his words with such clarity. And he was such a godly man. He was a natural-born preacher. And if you'd go in a room, you'd see a bunch of people sitting around. And somebody, you go, look, well, what all those people do? Oh, they're sitting there, they're listening to Herb Jeffries. And he'd be talking about God mostly. And I think the reason he made 100 is because he said once, many times I heard him say, I start every day the same. I start out saying, good morning, Father. Thank you for another day. What do you want me to do today? And that's the way he lived his life. He treated me, he was like a father to me. He was like, 30 years older, and he was an incredible man. And he made it to 100. They had a great celebration. He made these black cowboy movies because he was traveling around with black bands, and he saw all these black kids going to Gene Autry and stuff. He said they don't have a hero that they can relate to. So he went to this producer and he made black cowboy movies, The Bronze Buckaroo, and you can still get them, they're available. And then he got with Duke Ellington and became a very famous, successful singer.
Can you tell us your website that we could go to?
Music Angels, plural.
Hey, this is Chuck from Big Fish Music. We're at Portsicall at Parkhurst Gallery. We're viewing CAO Young's beautiful paintings here. You should come down and see it. A wonderful, wonderful experience. Come down on Saturday and Sunday to Parkhurst Gallery. CAO Young's display of his paintings and artwork, beautiful. I encourage everyone to come on out and have a good time. I like the one down in the corner. I think it showed this either a Chinese or the Chinese dynasty. It was, oh my gosh, it was so beautiful. I don't know how long it took to paint that, but it's just a masterpiece. But you know, a lot of the paintings here are really nice. I mean, CAO Young has got a lot of beautiful paintings here, and you know what? If I could, I would. I'd get every one of them. You know, it's really hard to choose which one is a favorite because they're just so neat. And they're the real thing, but they're really, really good.
I'm Darryl Harrelson. I'm a music producer. I've produced Larry Covin, among other people, and enjoying the show very much. I've just met him tonight, but I do have one of his pieces, and I'm going to have him actually try to get him to sign it for me tonight if I can. So I really enjoy the pieces. They're very bright colors. They're very interesting, and I love the expressions, especially on the faces of the people that he draws. It's very interesting. He's performing here tonight for the exhibit. I'm a music producer. I work with many independent artists. I've worked with Charlie Daniels. I've worked with Leanne Rimes. I've worked with a lot of country artists, and I've also worked with a lot of currently I'm doing sound for rock benefits for homeless veterans and things like that. We just worked with Lawrence Juber, who was with Paul McCartney and Wings, and we were working with Canned Heat, the band Canned Heat. We're doing a concert in November, another one for homeless veterans, and so that's very rewarding to do things like that. Oh, I've been producing for over 25 years now, and I do a lot of country music, I do a lot of rock music, but I'm in Nashville several times a year for business, and I'm former president of the California Country Music Association, so I've been around a while. Actually, I had a friend that took me to the old Palomino Club back in the day, and I became a talent judge out there for their weekly talent competition. And I did talent shows nationwide in Las Vegas, Gatlinburg, Tennessee, Beaumont, Texas. Way before there was American Idol, we were doing national talent competitions for artists. And, I was commissioned a Kentucky Colonel because I was working with artists in that part of the country, and by the governor of Kentucky, so that was great. Well, he's got some really nice ones here. The one that I actually own is called Garden of Eden, and it's a really beautiful woman in a garden, and it's just really mesmerizing to look at. I really love the picture. MajorLabelMusic.com is my website, and we have a studio called MLE Studios. And yeah, just give me a call. We have a toll-free number. We'd love to talk.